So this week I'm going to be talking about sophomore year of high school and sophomore year of college. As you can see from the last video, my sophomore year of college makeup wise was not all that different, except for a couple things. I generally stopped wearing lipstick. Instead, I just wore lip gloss. Or nothing at all. Because I figured my lips were fine just the way they were. My sophomore year of college has actually not been too great. I ended up getting like an F and something else, and it wasn't because I was trying to cover up who I was, it was because I wasn't dedicated to what I was doing. And it really ended up hitting home for me when I got that F, and I was like, oh my god, my GPA is like 1.7. That's a problem. Thankfully I was able to boost it. Last fall semester I was able to boost it with a couple classes I took because I got an A- and a C. And so the A- really helped boost it, and so it's now past a 2.0. If I go back to school, and I'm hoping I will, my first and foremost priority is going to be boosting my GPA, whether that means retaking classes because I do want to retake the 4 classes that I got C's on, or to retake 1 class while doing 2 classes I need for my degree. Sophomore year, I haven't taken any classes at the school. I've only taken online classes just because my schedule doesn't permit me to actually have time to go to a school and take classes. This coming spring semester, I'll actually be able to take classes in classroom. I'll need to for a couple of classes, I know, because it's just going to be too hard to do online. So sophomore year of high school, I had a really big obsession with side ponytails, and so they became one of my favorite hairstyles to do. I also started wearing more makeup, obviously not as much. Sophomore year, I decided I would really try and make friends, and I ended up making a lot of friends, and it was great. But at the same time, it was really kind of hard because I started experiencing bullying. And it was at a Christian co-op, and you'd think, oh, that's nothing, you don't know what it's like to be bullied. Yeah, I do. I may not have been physically bullied by anyone, but I was emotionally bullied, and it hurts, sometimes more, especially when people start hurting your family because they're trying to get back at you. That's when it really starts cutting a little deeper, that they have the nerve to mess with your family because they don't like who you are. And it was kind of at that point that I started getting the, you know what, I don't give a crap attitude. And I started changing because of it. I got a little more pompous and arrogant. I had no patience for people. It was just, I was done. I had, it was the beginning of the year, and I was like, I don't want to come back here, period. Throughout the course of the year, though, I had one guy who started kind of paying attention to me, and if he saw me sitting alone in the cafeteria, he'd come and talk to me. And it was really nice to kind of be noticed, especially by a guy. I always felt like the outcasts because people would come in and they'd look at me and they'd just walk by. And it was people that said they were my friend. And they'd go off to sit at a table with all of their friends. That was basically my sophomore year of high. It had its ups and downs, mostly downs. Most of my high school career had a lot of downs. Sophomore year was when I actually started contemplating committing suicide. So it was a big deal. It's hard when you get to the point that you feel you can't live anymore, and it hurts because there's people that care a lot of the times. Like, I know my parents would care, but I had one sister, I had 2, but I had one who I was convinced that if I died she'd laugh, because I was convinced that's how much she didn't care. I knew my other sister would be heartbroken. And part of the reason I didn't end up hurting myself was mostly because of my mom and dad, because I knew how heartbroken they would be. And at the same time, that pressure, you know, how heartbroken they would be, was also like, it was a lot of pressure, and so it would almost make me want to do it more. It's really hard to be at that state. So I would encourage you guys, if you're going through something like that or whatever, all of us girls on this channel, we're here for you. You know, it's hard. You know, it's hard to keep pushing through. You know, it's 4 years down the road, and I still have those thoughts sometimes, and I still have to push them out. You know, sophomore year was also the year I really started thinking about starting to cut. It wasn't until the end of my junior year and beginning of senior that I really took that and moved it into reality. You know, and it's still like a touchy subject because I still do think about doing these things. It's a constant battle I struggle to overcome, and it's nothing to be taken lightly. You know, so if you deal with something like this, I implore you, please, you know, tell someone about it. You know, maybe you won't feel comfortable telling an adult because you'll feel that they just think you need attention, and that's why you're doing it. But, you know, like I said, the girls at this channel, we're here for you. Whether you're a girl or a guy, or, you know, whatever. If you're struggling with it, let us know. We can help. You know, because no person should have to go through that, especially on their own. Like, you should have someone who can be there, who can support you and tell you it's going to be okay, you can make it through. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's a constant battle. It's a struggle every day sometimes just to get through a couple hours, or just to get through school, or just to get through, like, cafeteria, lunch. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, but you gotta do it. You know, so many people who are in high school and want to commit suicide, you have your whole life ahead of you. You know, don't waste your time thinking about all the ways you're not good enough. Because if you keep focusing on the negative, you're never going to see the positive. You are good enough. You're on this earth for a reason. You may not find that out until, you know, you've graduated high school, maybe you started doing something in college, and then it clicks and you're like, that's not what I want to do, I want to do this. And then maybe you're able, you know, once you start doing that, you're able to help people and guide people and save people, and you go, wow, if I had gone through with that when I was younger, I wouldn't have been able to make this change. You know, so try to look at the bigger picture. Don't give up just because of a bunch of jerks being jerks. You know, some boys or girls may grow up and some won't. Some boys will become men, some will stay frogs, and some will stay dogs. It's just how life is. You are going to have girls that are going to be the biatches. It's typical. You know, you walk into a high school, there's bound to be that group of girls that's just, I'm so fabulous and you're not. And it's obnoxious to deal with. But just remember that the people who do that are insecure in themselves. So don't let them bring you down to their level, because you're better than that. I love you guys. That's all for this week's video. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Feel free to let us know if you're struggling with stuff. You know, we'd love to correspond with you guys and help you out. So yeah, that's that. So I love you all. Have a good week. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.